Hey babes, it's Abbi J, your life coach, and today I just want to gush, honestly, gush about this personal development principle, I would say, kind of more of like a life strategy, a thought process that has changed my life. We are going to talk about the price of knowing, what that even means, what it looks like in your life, and how understanding the price of knowing will change your life. So first of all, this is not my own brilliance that I'm going to share with you. I wish it was. I wish I could say, this is my idea that I've come up with. But I learned this, it was a couple years ago, and I was in a kind of ward Relief Society activity where just like a group of women, we get together and we learn cool skills. And they had brought in kind of a local Utah celebrity, my friend Jenny Layton, who is a professional organizer and a life coach. And she was just sharing with us women like how we can organize our life better and how it'll change your life. And I'm all about that. Like I loved every second of it. And I remember somebody raised their hand and they said, but what if I get rid of something that I need? And I was like, yes. Oh my gosh, I have done that before. I did it the other day. I said I was looking for a piece of jewelry and it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, I consigned it because I didn't even know that I would want it in the future. And now, I wish I hadn't gotten rid of that, right? And so I was like, yeah, what do you do when, you might give away something that you want or realize that you need later down the road? And Jenny, in her brilliance, said, well, that's the price of knowing. The price of knowing that you really do need that can opener, or you really do actually like that shirt or wish that you had that type of ring, is that now you have to go out and you buy it again. And she was saying that, you know what, it might cost you $20, it might cost you $100, it might cost you $2, but that is the price of knowing, because I promise you, once you realize you've given something away and you realize, oh my gosh, I actually wanted that or needed that you're not going to do that again. Right now you have that experience and that knowledge to say, oh no, I actually really need that, or I'm going to use this tool in this way. And that is the price of knowing. And Jenny is not the only one to talk about this. When she taught me that, I realized I see it from a lot of different life coaches and a lot of different people who are very smart. And how I've used this in my life has been when something kind of exciting happens or something challenging happens, I use this price of knowing to get myself through it. And here's what I mean. So I don't know about you, but I dream of being so many things. I joke all the time with my husband that if I had unlimited time, unlimited resources, I would first go to school to be a hairdresser, and then I would go to school to be a lawyer, and then I'd go to school to be an OBGYN. And then after that, I might go and get a religious education master's degree and go teach somewhere, right? I just have so many dreams and aspirations. And even though I'm not going to go do all those things, I technically could, because I don't have unlimited resources and stuff. I do feel like opportunities come up in our life where we're like, oh, should I try that? Should I audition for that? Maybe that's something I need in my life. And for you, particularly my audience that is typically in school, whether that's high school or college or beyond, that might look like for you, should I look into this degree? Should I go to hair school, right? Or should I go to this trade school? Or hey, should I audition for the school play? Or should I try out for English Sterling Scholar? And I always say yes to those opportunities, because even though they're hard, and believe me, a lot of them cost money, a lot of them cost stress and worrying about it, and all of them cost your mental and emotional energy. But that's the price of knowing. And my experiences so far have been that anything I have invested into knowing, into going down the road far enough to know, is this for me or is this not for me, has always always paid off. I'm gonna share with you a quick story that I feel like fits in perfectly with the price of knowing. And then I'm gonna share with you a couple experiences of my own that share with you how I have used this principle in my life that I think can directly apply to you right now. So one of my favorite stories of all times comes from Jeffrey R. Holland. And he tells the story that him and his son were walking down a path one day, and they were trying to get back to their campsite, I want to say, and they weren't sure exactly what way to go. And so the path veered off into a V. And so there was a path on their left and there was a path on their right. And they had no idea which way was the right way to go. And so they got down on their knees, they said a prayer, and both of them came up from this prayer and said, "Oh my goodness, we need to go on the right." And they both were like, "Yeah, we both got that same answer, that we need to go on this right side of this path." So the two of them start walking down the path, and not too far into it, they come to a dead end. And it was totally the wrong path to go down. And so they just turned around and started walking back. And when they got back to that fork in the road, they went down the left side, and they were able to get back to their campsite. So as they got back to their campsite, the son looked at his dad, Jeffrey R. Holland, and he said, "Dad, we both prayed about which way we should go, and both of us felt so certain we needed to go down the right side of this path. So, Dad, how could both of us be so wrong?" And Jeffrey R. Holland told his son, he said, "You know what, son? That we got the answer to go down that right side of that path so that we would know with a surety that we were on the right path." And so I think that happens to us all the time in life, especially when we can give into and listen to this price of knowing and know that this is a real principle for how I live my life. Because so often we go throughout life and we have like opportunities and experiences, but we still wonder what could have happened. What if I had done this? What if I really applied myself? What if I had dated this person? What if I had done these things, right? And so when we can use this principle of the price of knowing, we get rid of those what ifs. And it's like that story. It's like going down the wrong path far enough to know, oh, this isn't what I want to do. This isn't what interests me. This isn't what I thought it would be. And turning around and knowing for a certainty that you're on the right path. So some examples of this in my life. I remember I was just fresh out of high school. I'm about like 18, 19 years old. And I remember a friend of mine asking me to do the Miss Farmington pageant. And I remember thinking, that sounds fun. It also sounds scary as I'll get out. Like, it sounds terrifying. I don't want to do anything scary, right? But I thought about it, and it was one of those things that kind of stirred in my mind, and I was like, what if I could win? What if I liked this? What if this worked out for me? And I remember that at the time I didn't really know this principle, but I followed it because I said, you know what? It sounds like something I'm interested in. It sounds like something that could be like a really fun thing for me to do. It's worth the price of knowing, right? And that price that I had to pay is like, yeah, I had to register for the pageant. I think pageants are like $120 to do, something around there. So as like a teen, that was like a lot of money to me. And then the other price was like, I had to go and practice, and I had to go do workshops. I had to go meet new people. I had to go on stage and perform, and like stuff that was so foreign to me, right? And guess what? I totally lost that pageant. I didn't even place, but it totally set me on a different path, and it got me into pageants, and it was a way I could pay for college. And that was the price of knowing, is I had to enter a pageant, pay money, put in my time, and lose a pageant to know that that was actually something that I wanted to do. Another example I was thinking about is I was in high school as a senior, and my teachers were like, hey, we're taking Sterling Scholar applications, and you can apply for all different kind of mediums and disciplines. So you could do science, you could do art, you could do English. And they said you could apply for as many as you wanted. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to apply for the theater Sterling Scholar because I am in the top theater class. I'm amazing at it. It's my passion. It's what I'm good at. I'm the lead in the play, all the things. And I remember this stirring of like, what if I applied for more? What if I applied for some of these other things that I feel like I'm really good at? And at the time, I was like a closet writer. Is that a thing? Like, I don't know why. I'd gotten this idea in my head that if you were a writer, you were kind of like a crazy dreamer kind of person, of just like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it comes from this stereotype, and I can say this because I am a writer and I love it. The first day I walked into college, I'm a creative writing major at that point in my life. This is a side rant, but I walk in and my classes, the professor is like 20 years old. He was so young and he was so amazing, but he's like super young. There was like a kid dressed in all black. There was a kid with a cape. I'm not joking. There was another kid that had like a cane and he wore these like kick butt awesome boots. Like, it was like that total stereotype of just like the moody, brooding writer, right? And so I didn't feel like I fit that. So I was like a closet writer. I had all these stories and all these books that I'd read and written, but I didn't tell a soul. And I remember thinking, well, what if I did both? What if I did the theater and the English one? And I remember thinking, that's gonna be so much work. Do you know how much work? I'm gonna have to write another essay. I'm gonna have to submit a completely different resume. I'm gonna have to share my work as a writer. Do you know how scary that is? And I didn't know it at the time, but that was the price of knowing, right? That was the price of experiencing, putting my hat in the ring, so to speak. And I'm so glad I did, because I didn't get the theater Sterling Scholar, but I did get the English Sterling Scholar. And it set me on this path that I went into college and I was in English major creative writing, right? And now that changed for me along the way, but it directed my path. All of this to say that you're going to go through your life and there's going to be so many things that you're like, what if I hung out with this new person? Could we be friends? What if I shadowed this person and went in and was their apprentice for a little bit? What if I student taught over here? What if I, tried these new things or signed up for like automotive class? I want to encourage you to do it, because I get it's scary. I get it costs money. I get that it's hard to do. And I get that it totally might not work out for you. It might be a total bust. And that's okay, because it's the price of knowing. One experience, last one I'll share with you, that was like a total bust for me, as I was pretty sure, kind of that same year, I was Sterling Scholar. I came out of the closet about writing. I was like, I want to be a writer. And so everybody was like, well, you should be an English teacher. And I thought, yeah, that sounds really fun. And at the time, my school offered you could go like shadow a profession as part of your like a extracurricular activity that you could do with an elective. There we go. And so I went and I student taught with my mom, who was a 6th grade teacher. And I thought, this is perfect. I'm going to love teaching. I know that this is what I want to do. And I get an elective where I get to do during school and I get to hang out with my mom. Perfect. I hated every second of it. I hated student teaching. It was so hard. I was so tired. I was not ready to like take on a group of kids. And that like totally bombed for me. But I am beyond grateful that I went through that experience of day after day trying it, of realizing that being a teacher is so hard, because that was my price of knowing that I didn't want to do that, at least not in elementary schools, right? And so it was so incredibly valuable to me. It was so much more valuable than just my time and, the mental energy that it took for me to do that, even though it was so hard. Because then I didn't waste time in college thinking, okay, I'm going to go be a teacher, because I knew that that wasn't for me. So this video is a little bit more ambiguous. I don't necessarily have steps for you, but I just want you to embrace this. The next time you're like, I don't know, should I do that? Should I not? I feel that stirring, maybe I'll like this. Go for it. That is the price of knowing. Yes, it's going to cost money. Yes, it's going to cost your time. Yes, it is going to be terrifying, but it's worth it to know. It's worth it to know this isn't for me. It's worth it to know absolutely this is for me. Because by the time we get through our life, the thing that we're going to find is most valuable is how we spent our time and how who we became in that time and what experiences we had. It's not going to be, oh my gosh, I can't believe I spent $2,000 doing this class that never worked for me. It's going to, looking back, saying, I'm so grateful I didn't waste my life doing a profession that I didn't like, right? So all that to say, take chances, take risks, and know it's just the price of knowing. So thanks for watching this video with me. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel, Abbi Winslow, where I'm a life coach for young adults and I teach teenagers specifically how to master high school and beyond. So if that's you, please subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Abbi J out.